to get this kind of support, I realize I have people.
Absolutely.
I have people.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Put it already in the subject line. Nigger, 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 nigger.
Right.
Cunt, bitch.
Yeah.
Genetically inferior. I mean, I heard all kinds of things. You know, it's just like, Jeff Bezos did that. Very intense moment of profound pain. And my outburst, my emotional outburst of deep, deep pain, I was teaching. I followed up explaining that there was a genocide against the Biafra people.
Right.
The who were trying, the Igbo people who were trying to form an independent nation of Biafra. They wanted to be separate from the country that the British Empire had imposed on us, which was this country of Nigeria, where they kind of took a bunch of independent nations who don't have anything to do with each other, don't even speak each other's language, don't relate. Many of them were even enemies and warring at the time, smushed them all together and drew these arbitrary lines around them and called them countries and named those countries. A union for us. And then go through, contentious, bloody independence processes that never really yield any real independence. You're still part of a commonwealth afterwards. And the eternal fomenting of divisiveness and infighting in order to be able to control you. This is what an oppressor does, a colonizer does. These are tactics and strategies of dominance.
Right.
We were subjected to that as a larger unit of Nigeria. And then when the Igbo people said, we want our own thing, let's go and do that. Well, it so happened to be that the territory that this new country of Biafra was going to be in included very, very rich oil reserves. And the British were not going to let go of that.
Wow.
And the people that they had put in power, their puppet Nigerian governments weren't going to do that either because they needed it for the Nigerian project.
Right.
And Britain needed it for its own interests and uses. So Great Britain got directly involved in this civil war and in the war for independence and decided that they would do everything to make sure that Biafra did not go.
Wow.
And this everything meant directly funding genocide of the people of period of 1967 to 1970. The BBC themselves were producing documentaries, decrying it, covering all the protests that were happening in Great Britain. And my sister was alive at that time. She was like 5, 6.
Right.
My other brother was alive at the time, and my second brother was in my mother's belly. She was pregnant during this time, running from village to village to escape the bombs that they were throwing at villagers. So when we tell you that 3 million people, some people have said up to 5 million, 6 million, or some people quote low. So the sort of average agreed upon number that you really cannot contest is about 3 million. When you think of a Holocaust,
right,
this is a Holocaust.
Absolutely.
And Queen Elizabeth II was ruler. She was monarch at that time. This was the government that she was supervising. Now, I don't buy this notion that she was just a statue sitting on the shelf.
Right.
This was a ruler. This was someone, the very crown that she had on her head signifying the fact that she's a monarch was made from plunder.
Right.
Diamonds, blood diamonds. So you cannot say that she was just this little old lady or this figurehead that really had nothing to do with anything, and it was just the British government that were making their deals and, governing however they would without relating it directly to her because she directly benefited her very position as a monarch, the palace that she lived in, the opulence, the obscene levels of wealth that she enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Were all paid for by our blood. And I don't say this figuratively, and I don't say this as something that, oh, this long remote past, let's say, of human enslavement, which on my mother's side, she's from Trinidad, my ancestors over there were enslaved by the British. I'm talking about recent living memory of people still alive today. Her money, her government funded our slaughter. And people expected me to be calm or to be, I don't know what they expected.
Right.
When the person who literally paid money for bombs and guns and military supplies to come and massacre your people is dying. Right. You're not supposed to dance. What's the reaction to that? Support from people who may or may not have agreed with how I expressed my pain, but certainly believed that I had a right to do it.
Absolutely.
In however I did it. And that was so important to me. And it was wonderful to see that because people in this country, in the United States, and around the world, and it wasn't just academics, it was professionals, it was community members, students, all sorts of people were there saying, we got your back.
Absolutely.
Now, once again, they were not endorsing what I did or the words that I use, but they were endorsing my right to speak my truth and to speak my pain and not be terrorized and abused and violently targeted for it when Jeff Bezos put that target on my back. Absolutely. It's also a letter from my colleagues at my university, other faculty, staff, other employees, with more than 100 names on that letter as well. On campus, they spray painted on sort of the main quad. There's this wall, this white wall, where they spray painted RIP colonialism on one side, and on the other side, let her speak. These were Carnegie Mellon students who did that. So when I saw all of that, the outpouring of support from the broader academic community and, in general, people outside of my institution, along with my colleagues at my institution and the students that I serve at this institution. I cannot, and I'm, a words person. Words are my business. I'm a linguist. I cannot even find the words to tell you just how thankful and grateful and joyful I felt. Because I'm a human being. I act tough, right? But you can only take so much abuse.
True.
So in all of that pain, to get this kind of support, I realize I have people.
Absolutely.